All right, what is up, everybody? This is Brandon from ComixKings. This is another segment of Tag Team Thursday yet again. As you guys know, at 6:30, we started off over with Just a Rican on his YouTube channel for the kickoff show. Then we went over to John's Comics with Kids, checking out his pull list. Then we went over to Tony, Old Wolf Comics, and then Dan, Chop Chop News. Now you're over here for Crisis on Infinite Rants, which is probably the most random show on this Tag Team Thursday train, because I don't even know what's going to come onto the show until probably the day before or the day of. Today I kind of just planned up the day of because I just keep it random, hence the Crisis on Infinite Rants. And after this, we're going over to Justin, No Good Comics. Today, actually, we are going to be talking about some DC books that you may have slept on, but are also good for new readers. If you're just trying out DC for the first time with all the hype going on with the Snyder Cut and Infinite Frontier, which I've been a huge critic of, but I'm actually really enjoying. So I'm going to be talking about that a little bit more tomorrow on Weekly Wrap Up with my good friend Hillbilly Comics. So check that out tomorrow. It's going to be live 8 p.m. And let's say hello to the chat real quick. We got PJ King. What's up, man? We got Fable. Yes, sir. Tag, I'm it. We got Dan, who just had a great show. Definitely go check out the replay if you missed it. Then we got Rod, Just a Rican in his comics. How you doing? This kickoff, the hype of the train right there. And then we got Justin, No Good Comics. We got Hoodjack. We got Ian in the house. We got Tomorrow. What is up? All right, and I believe that is it. I'm all caught up with the chat. So let's just get right into the first book I want to recommend. I'm going to kind of go in order of like some of the Justice League members, talk about some books that I really enjoyed. You may have slept on this one, Batman Eternal. This came out in the New 52 era. So the premise of this book is Jim Gordon gets arrested and Gotham kind of like goes into hell, but it's like it's weird because you would expect it to be like Joker and the Riddler and like higher up villains, but no, this kind of started with like the Falcons, and we kind of started from there and then worked our way up on the back end to what's been going on with like Penguin, Scarecrow. We got Owlman, Hush in there, so a little bit more of your minor major villains. Okay, and this gives me a new co-host of Weekly Wrap Up, bringing it back. This is Bryce, Hillbilly Comics. Check him out, good friend of mine. What's up, Bryce? Now, who wrote Batman Eternal? This was a bi-weekly story of a bunch of creators that just sat down and pumped out a good Batman book, which it did its job very solid. This was by Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Ray Fox, Tim Seeley, and Kyle Higgins. Art was a bunch of different artists. They kind of traded off week by week or day in and day out. The majority of it was by Jason Fabok. In my opinion, this was the best Batman he's ever done. His art was better in this book than it was in Three Jokers. Then we got Justin Nguyen, who kind of did a little bit of backup stories. You got a lot of the Bat family in here. Okay, you got a lot of the Bat family in this book, which James Tynion IV later wrote in his Detective Comics run, which was also a great read as well from Rebirth. So definitely go check that out. By the way, I have all the links for the books that I'm going to be talking about in the description. I put on the Amazon links. You can always hit up your LCS and see if they have any of these volumes in the trade paperback, or if you have DC Universe, make sure you check out these books. The next book that I'm going to be talking about today, we got Super Sons, which is by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. Now, this is more, I want to recommend this book. I really do, because it was a great read. It was a really great read, and it's a lot of fun. It's for all ages, no matter if you're an adult or you have a kid that's getting into comics. This is definitely a book that can be enjoyed by the majority of people, kind of like how Strange Academy you can read for days. So this is, of course, and then if Jorge Jimenez, this is kind of where he started his career in DC Comics on this book. So it's with Robin, Damian Wayne, and Jonathan Kent. They are best buds, and they're just going on adventures, feeling out the whole superhero world. Okay, so and it's just like adventure after adventure. The omnibus just released, so you may have seen that. It's a great read. If you don't want to read the omnibus, I just dropped the link for the first volume in there. It's really fun. The only reason why I would say don't read it is because you're going to get very confused, because John is now teenager, young adult in the new Infinite Frontier. So you might get a little bit confused. It may feel weird. It's definitely weirder for me seeing like how fast they've aged John in the past 8 years. Not even. This book came out in, I think, 2004. 2013, so 6 years, 7 years. Haven't seen Ray Fox in any Marvel or DC books in the last several years. His Gotham by Midnight was awesome. I completely agree. Gates of Gotham by Higgins and Snyder was really good. I'm not a big Kyle Higgins fan. He wasn't really that nice to me at a con, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. I just read Higgins. Higgins is only like 2 books in this, so I picked it up. And then Flash. Okay, now Joshua Williamson embarked on probably the most seminal Barry Allen story we've had. I'm going to go as far as say since the Silver Age, because then we had that whole thing with Wally West by Mark Waid, and then we had Jeff Johns saying I don't like Wally West and bringing in Barry Allen and messing up the whole Flash universe. That's a story for another time. But Joshua Williamson wrote over 100 issues, I believe, of Flash. If you don't want to read all of that, start at year 1 or start at Flash War. Flash War was by him and Howard Porter. It's basically a big race between Barry and Wally West, and this book later became feeding into why Wally West became kind of the poster boy for DC Comics to plague him with everything, and for Danny Dio to embark his hate on Wally West because Danny Dio did not like Wally West. Clearly, he was a big Barry Allen fan, and he had no bones saying that to the press, saying this is why he's going through all that. But start at Flash year 1. This is, again, by Joshua Williamson and Howard Porter. Barry's like going to go back in time kind of to save from Turtle Man, who's trying to take over Central City and kidnapping Iris. And Barry's going back kind of saving it. And this is like his first, this is where he like kind of gets his suit, kind of learns the ropes in dealing with problems in public. Okay, so it is a great read. It's honestly... It's like a combination of fast and slow. You got Turtleman, you got Barry Allen. The art is great. Howard Porter is a legend. You may know him from his Justice League with Grant Morrison, which is one of the best Justice League books of all time. And then we have PJ King saying Super Sons was fun. I love the relationship between Damian and Jonathan. The Super Sons Omni out in May. Superman Rebirth Omni from Tomasi and Gleason comes out in May. Yes. I was actually also going to be talking about Superman Reborn. This was my intro into Superman. It was the first Superman book I ever read by Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. If you like the family dynamic in Superman, definitely read Peter J. Tomasi's run, because it kind of kicks off that whole family aspect. Like, I found like the problem with most Superman books is people have so many different versions of the Superman that they enjoy. So this one just had that family aspect. It's great. I love it. And you get Crypto in it, which is also a big plus. You get the dog. Green Lantern, you can start at the Sinestro Corps Wars. This is by Jeff Johns and Ivan Reis. This is basically the expansion of the Green Lantern mythos, kind of bringing the Yellow Corps, the Sinestro Corps, the Red Lanterns. The Sinestro Corps is going to lead into Secret Origin, which leads into Rage of the Red Lanterns. And this just, it gives us a lot more of the Corps in space, and all that mythos was phenomenal. Then you had Justice League. Another book I want to talk about is Justice League Dark. This is by James Tynion IV and Alvaro Martinez Bueno. Another great book that a lot of people slept on. If you really like James Tynion IV's Detective Comics that I talked about earlier, this book is a great team book. So you're going to get your Wonder Woman, you're going to get your Bobo, Constantine, Swamp Thing, Animal Man appears, your Dead Man. A lot of your characters, your kind of B-list characters, your more mysticals, Zatan is in there, Fate is in there, and it's just a great story. This is honestly the best Wonder Woman you're going to get, because Wonder Woman never really holds up in her own series. So this is the best Wonder Woman you're going to get, but it's not overly chaosed with Wonder Woman being like the focal push. Tynion wrote a great team book. Definitely check it out. If you are a Magic fan, if not, then I guess skip it. Again, volume 1 is in the description below. Then you have Justice League. I want to touch on a Justice League book that I really enjoyed, which is by Scott Snyder, Jorge Jimenez, and Francis Manapul. It's spun out of Dark Knight's Metal, but it doesn't feel like that. It's very self-contained. And it's very easy to follow. Basically, Lex Luthor is trying to control the Batman Who Laughs and trying to wake Perpetua at the same time. So we're dealing with all of that, and he's uniting the Legion of Doom in the meantime. It's just Lex trying to operate something grand, and it just ends up, I don't want to spoil it, but it doesn't end up going the way he wants to. It does for a while, the Justice League doesn't really even stop him until everything gets way too out of control for him. Alex Byrne on Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed Wonder Woman Dead Earth. That's another book that I put in the description, which is written and drawn by Daniel Warren Johnson. Wonder Woman slept for a gazillion years, woke up, and the world went to hell, and she has to protect the last city left on Earth. So it's a futuristic kind of horror story. It's Black Label, so it's not going to be PG rated. And Daniel Warren Johnson is fantastic at what he does. He's like a Greg Capullo, except his pencils are much tighter, and everything just looks. Honestly, I like him a little bit better than Greg Capullo. I would have loved to see Danny Warren Johnson doing the Dark Knight Death Metal series. And yeah, I enjoyed Azzarello's run on Wonder Woman 2. It kind of fell flat, which is why that's not on my recommended reading. If you do want to hop into normal continuity Wonder Woman, I would say pick up the new run that Becky Cloonan is doing. Travis Moore's on art. I read it. It was great. And then the last one I want to talk about before we hand it over to Justin at No Good Comics. And Justin, I know you're loving my sweatshirt right now, bro. I know you're loving that sweatshirt. But it is Aquaman by Kelly Sudaconic, art by Robson Roca. At the end of Dan Abnett's tenure, Aquaman died. He didn't die because it's comics, and no one really dies, especially Aquaman. But he forgot who he was. So this run is remembering who he is, reconnecting with Mera on a level that furthers their relationship, reconnecting with his roots that really make him King of Atlantis and the Aquaman that we love. So Jeff Johns kind of made Aquaman not a joke anymore, and Kelly Sue DeConnick made him a character. That's really the way that I look at it when it comes down to this. It is a great read. It's fantastic. They end up having a kid later in the run, so that's something to look forward to, which you probably already knew from Future State. We get a lot of character development with Aqualad, who is not Aqualad anymore. It is Jackson. And it's just great. You get a lot of good stuff in that book. The art is great. Robson Rook is a very, very, very talented artist. And Victor Bogdanovic, who did Wolverine, did Aquaman for a little bit, which was also a very, 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 very great drawing. Really showed his versatility on that book. So definitely go check out those books. So this is something that even longtime readers to DC, I feel like these were books that a lot of people slept on and didn't really enjoy from the jump. So go back, read them in trade. You can also hit up your LCS, see if they have any of these trades, see if they can order them from Diamond or from any publishing company. Or you can go on to Amazon, InStock, Trade Shop. There are multiple sources for you guys to get these comics or these trades if you want to collect them in floppies. I know Midtown is doing a sale right now on a lot of DC back issues. And then if you want to read some Shazam, I didn't put this in the description. I'm just thinking about it right now because I'm very impulsive. Shazam by Jeff Johns is great. And then Dale Eaglesham, I believe, is on art, and Scott Collins. Yes, and that was just a very great family book as well. I'm not always... See, I love Marvel, but I'm also a big DC fan as well, so I don't always hate on DC. Definitely check out these books. Find out which one you're interested in. Pick it up, read it, and then let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Or if you have read these books, let me know in the comments what you guys like. And yes, we are going over to No Good Comics, so Tag Buddy, you are it. I'll see you guys over there on his chat. We got the closer coming out.